Well, let's take you back to the Zondo Commission now and to unpack the recusal application bid made by former President Jacob Zuma to have the Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo removed as chairman of that commission. I'm joined by political analyst Aubrey Matshiqi. Gogo Togoza to you, and thank you very much for making the time to speak to us. Firstly, do you have any inkling about which way this is going to go? Is the chairperson of that commission, Raymond Zondo, going to recuse himself or not?
Okay. My own information, Cody, is this. Last night, the Zuma legal team received notice that the commission intends to cross-examine the former president. They also received the transcript of the July 2019 proceedings. Now, if my information is correct, that is, it is the intention of the commission to cross-examine the former president today. This would be a signal, therefore, that the Judge Zondo, is not going to recuse himself. The question then is, if my information is correct, what's going to happen? What may happen is that the Zuma legal team will stand up and argue that the commission and the judge cannot force them as lawyers to stay in the commission. But it is up to Zuma himself to decide whether he will stay and be cross-examined. And I suspect the reason that they might give is that beyond the point of the judge announcing that he is not going to recuse himself, they are not briefed by their client, at which point they will bid the commission adieu, they will leave. Now, that will leave the former president with the question of whether he stays or he goes. If he stays, then he will be cross-examined. If he goes, he faces the possibility of contempt proceedings against him. Now, if he is found guilty of contempt and he is, let's say, fined or he is sent to jail for some time, that will be the end of the matter for Jacob Zuma, because beyond that point, the commission cannot call him back. So that is where we are today.
All right, so let's pick up then on the affidavit that was filed by the Zuma legal team at the commission, and this has to do with this personal relationship that did not exist according to Zondo, but according to the former president, well, it actually does exist. And he goes further to say his appointment as a judge in 1997 actually may have had, he may have had a hand to play. This is Zuma I'm talking about. And why this is? Well, he says he held two positions of influence in the ANC, and that was one of chairmanship of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, but also at a national level, which afforded him the seat in key decision-making in as far as the Mandela administration was concerned. How do you read what the former president is saying? And importantly, Mr. Matshiqi, who is the public should believe? Who should the public believe? Is it Justice Zondo or former President Zuma?
Well, I'll start with your second question. I sent a tweet last night in which I argued that the commission is swimming in the dangerous waters of desired outcomes. In other words, there is an extent to which the truth does not matter. There is an extent to which the law does not matter. In the court of public opinion, what matters are desired outcomes. And therefore, the judge will be viewed in a positive or negative light, depending on whether he finds in accordance with such desired wishes. And if what obtains in the public domain is anything to go by, I think the preponderance of such desired wishes is that President Zuma should hang. And therefore, if Judge Zondo does not recuse himself, in those quarters, that would cause a lot of unhappiness. But, Toli, it is not possible that both men, Jacob Zuma and Judge Zondo, are telling the truth. One of them is lying about whether the two of them are friends. Now, of course, if it is the judge who is lying, and if this morning the Zuma legal team will still maintain that the judge is lying, in other words, his judicial integrity comes into question, two things will happen. One, as I said, they will announce that they are taking his ruling on review. And secondly, they will also announce that they are reporting him to the JSC for judicial misconduct.
Mr. Matshiqi, then there is another element to this, and that is that the evidence that is presented to that commission may incriminate a witness, particularly if that witness is the subject of an ongoing legal process. The former president is undergoing a corruption trial related to the arms deal. That we remember. But here's a big element linked to this very question that we've just addressed. The former president, as I understand it, in his arms deal trial, says, no, I was merely an MEC of economic development in KZN. I didn't really have influence in as far as the arms deal is concerned. But today, or should I say yesterday, when he admits that affidavit, he said, I held an influential position, in particular at a national level, that of sitting in decision-making in the ANC that affected which way the Mandela administration would go in as far as decisions are concerned, key decisions of the country are concerned. Has he not just incriminated himself there?
Well, what one argues in one matter may or may not be used as incontrovertible evidence in another. And therefore, it is not obvious to me that the former president, by arguing, as you have alluded to, in his corruption matter, he has already incriminated himself in the commission of inquiry. But what matters for me is this. Will the former president today say, yes, I am staying and I will subject myself to cross-examination by the evidence leaders? And if he does so, is he going to invoke the right not to incriminate himself? If he stays, I suspect, given the climate in which the commission is sitting, I think he is aware that, at least in political terms, it would not serve him to invoke that right. So if he decides to stay, I don't think he's going to invoke the right not to incriminate himself. But I don't believe he's going to stay. He's going to stay. I think he's going to walk out with his lawyers.
My goodness. Well, we shall see what's going to happen. Thank you very much, Aubrey Matshiqi, political analyst. Thanks indeed for your time. And, of course, you heard him saying that there is information that he's reliably learned about which way this is going to go. Is he going to indeed, are things going to go that way? We are going to have to wait and see.